What's going on YouTube? From the side, you might be surprised to learn that we're not reviewing the latest Land Rover, but instead the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe.
But this is not just any Hyundai Santa Fe. This is the first time that we've gotten hands-on with the fully loaded Calligraphy trim level, which has luxury features you will hardly believe.
So, is this top-of-the-stack Calligraphy Santa Fe delivering you the Land Rover experience for half the price? Well, let's go ahead and find out. So a big part of Hyundai giving you that Land Rover for less experience is with the exterior design. This is one of those vehicles where you cannot tell that there is any linkage to the previous generation whatsoever. This thing is a ground up redesign and looks completely different. With this boxy exterior, as you can see, it just has a very distinct look to it, and that starts up here in the front. Now with the Calligraphy trim level, you do get kind of the most premium fascia. It's a little bit different in terms of your texture. As you can see, all through this fascia here, you're gonna have a gloss black kind of honeycomb mesh finish. The same gloss black will be down here in the center section as well as in the lower part of the bumper. These big areas here actually do close up because they are active grille shutters, and that's one of the things that contributes to this very boxy SUV actually achieving a excellent 0.29 coefficient of drag. Now, let's talk about the lighting. It's also very bold. You're gonna notice an H theme throughout the entire exterior. So you have the H theme here with our daytime running light and turn signal indicator. And then when you factor in this light bar that goes all the way across, it also makes a larger H across the front. In terms of the headlights themselves, these are projector LED headlights. You actually get this premium lighting arrangement on all the trim levels from base to this Calligraphy. Now as we move around to the rear design, this of course is where the controversy is. As you know from all Santa Fe models, it has an interesting look, something that's really bold and stands out against the competition.
Yeah, and some of you may like that, some of you may not, but personally, I think it looks pretty darn cool, especially with this paint color. Now, I do want to just go ahead and break down some of the design elements while Drew gets inside so we can show off the taillights as well. We do have a spoiler right here, a wiper underneath of there. For the Calligraphy, we get the blacked out Santa Fe branding. I really like the blacked out branding. And then here are your taillights. So they're gonna be a little bit lower mounted than in most vehicles. And that is because Hyundai says that they wanted the widest opening tailgate, so that allowed them to do such. And as far as the taillights themselves, we do have an LED brake light portion. We also have an incandescent reverse light that's integrated down here and an LED turn signal. So 2 out of 3 elements are LED for the Santa Fe's taillight. I also want to point out that you have an LED light right here. This is legally required if the tailgate is open. It functions as a tail light itself. And then as far as this lower diffuser area, I do want to talk about this. So for the Calligraphy, all of this is going to be finished in a nice piano black. This piece right here is also finished in a piano black instead of the matte black that you get on other trim levels like our SEL trim level. We have an exposed exhaust outlet here on the right side because we have the gasoline tester today. If you choose the hybrid, no exposed exhaust at all. As far as your tow rating is concerned, it does vary a bit. 2,000 pounds for the hybrid, 3,500 pounds for all the gas trim levels, except the SRT, not SRT, besides for the XRT, which instead gets additional cooling to get a maximum capacity of 4,500 pounds.
Now you're probably also noticing just how cool this model looks in terms of the color. Hyundai actually has 11 color choices. Many of them are bold options for this new Santa Fe, and you even have 2 matte paint options. This is the earthy brass matte paint, and it looks absolutely stunning here in person. Also adding to the effect of the Calligraphy is the fact that this model exclusively has gloss black wheel arches and lower surrounds, and you also have blacked out badging up there in the front and in the rear. Now in terms of our wheels, these are also going to have an exclusive design for the Calligraphy trim level. This is the largest in the lineup. You have 21-inch alloy wheels. Again, with this exclusive design, they're also finished in a gloss black, and they look fantastic with the overall package. Now backing up here, of course, your mirrors are also going to be fully loaded with all the features that you would expect to see. So we have blind spot monitoring, we have heating, and we have power folding. Just be aware that auto dimming is not offered on the Santa Fe. You'll have to choose the Palisade if you want that.
Now here at the side of the Santa Fe, once again, you have that really boxy overall shape that really reminds me of those tough off-roading vehicles like Land Rover. Now, as far as the overall vehicle length, that did grow a little bit this year, about 1.7 inches over the previous gen to a total of about 190 inches long overall. Now, as far as some of the design elements, I do want to go ahead and dive into this because there's a lot of really cool bits, especially when you choose a higher end model like this Calligraphy. For one, you have this piece right here. This is more than just styling. It actually allows for some functionality. So you can stick your hand in here and this acts as a really good grab handle for you to easily be able to access what's up here on the roof. I really like that touch, but do be aware this is not on all trim levels. As we learned, we own the SEL trim level. It does not have that feature. That's going to be standard on XRT trim levels and above. Also standard on all but the very base model are these raised roof rails. Now, I do also want to talk about your safety systems. Hyundai is including all 4 active safety features as standard equipment on this Hyundai Santa Fe. However, there are a few additional features that you get as you move up the trim structure. XRT and above will add Highway Drive Assist 2.0, and additionally, if you choose the Limited or Calligraphy, you will have Hyundai's Smart Parking System. But guys, there is an even cooler inside that is unbelievably luxurious for this Calligraphy. So let's check that out. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, let's move on to the interior. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about our key. You do have a standard smart entry system. This is the newest Hyundai key fob design. As Mace is mentioning, we've got the Smart Park integrated in there. Remote start is also standard equipment. And I also want to mention, Digital Key 2.0 is included on the SEL and above, so it's a fully touchless system that runs through your phone to use that as a key. And then finally, you also get Blue Link services, and that's free for the lifetime of the vehicle. Now, getting inside, just grab behind the handle. That will unlock the door and fold the mirrors out. But I'll let Mason kind of dive in here and give you guys a good look at this interior because it is bold and it is beautifully finished. Take a look at that color. And let's talk about the Calligraphy trim level because that is our focus here. And what's special about the Calligraphy, first of all, kind of comes to our seats. So we do have an exclusive material on board. This is going to be the nicest leather that you can get in the lineup. It's a Napa leather with perforation and stitching details. So as you can see, we've got that nice design. We even have the H pattern like the headlights inside of the back, perforated through there with color contrast stitching, and it is a very soft and supple seat. But really the call to fame about this is the fact that the Calligraphy comes with what is known as the relaxation seat. So this is going to give you the full ability to recline and pop out this footrest to give you maximum comfort. Of course, not while you're driving, but while you're just relaxing or using this on a camping trip or something like that. I'm going to hop inside and give you a demo of that. Now to make that happen, you're just going to press in on this button right here, hold it for just a sec, and you'll see the seat reposition. It's of course going to pop out that leg rest like I was talking about, but the big thing that it actually does is pick up the seat and actually tilt it back to give you that maximum comfort. This is legitimately extremely comfortable. I feel like I'm in a lazy boy and I could certainly take a nap, you know, roll down the windows, let that breeze from the woods blow in. This would be A+. So that's certainly very cool. And of course, you're just going to do the opposite to get that to fold back up. In terms of the seat controls, again, you're going to have elevated number of controls on this high-end trim level, so you've got 4-way lumbar support as well. I do want to point out, though, that you might have saw a massaging button in some of our previous coverage of the international version of the Santa Fe that has not made it to the North American market. You'll have to choose a Palisade if you want that feature. Now over here on the door trim, you've got your 2-person memory seating on your upper trim levels. But let's fully get inside and explore this interior. Now we're fully inside, we can look around at the overall cabin materials, which are very impressive. Now you probably noticed at this point that this does have a green interior. Don't say that very often, especially not in the more affordable price area. And it's one of 4 different colors you can choose from. They've got some bold options. This green is honestly the most bold, but you can also get a pecan, which is kind of a brown amber look. Also really a beautiful design overall. Now, diving in over here to our door trim, you're going to find a leather trim all through here with the stitching detail. You're going to have that green leatherette running across the upper part with a double stitching detail and ample use of this faux wood trim in a light color. You can also get some other faux woods in this cabin. Up top here, more of the leatherette all the way up to the windshield, leatherette through the center section, and more of this wood is going to run all the way across above the H-shaped vents. And then as we dive down to the center section, all the plastics and stuff are going to be padded. This does have a nice leatherette here for your knee to rest against. Well, let's go ahead and fire it up. Now that we fired everything up, let's get into some of the individual details. One of the things I wanted to point out was the ambient lighting, because obviously our SEL trim level doesn't have this advanced ambient lighting that you can kind of see. Just like everything with this Santa Fe, you have this H pattern, so it runs down through there, all the way across and over here to the other side. It makes for a very cool look at night. Now, shifting our attention over here to our displays, we'll start with the gauge cluster. Since we have the top trim level, we're going to get the full digital 12.3 inch reconfigurable display as opposed to the smaller display setup. This is, again, customizable, and you also, in addition to that, have a head-up display. This is a 12-inch head-up display. This comes on just the Calligraphy trim level, has a lot of different information inside of it. Both the Limited and the Calligraphy, though, are going to come with the blind spot camera system. Now, you might notice off to the side, there's this extra little panel with this little knot on it. This is actually a fingerprint reader, and this works with various systems inside of the vehicle just to authenticate you and keep things secure. Certain things like valet mode can be activated and deactivated with your fingerprint. Certainly a very cool feature that we've seen on some of the Genesis products, first here on the Santa Fe. Now, in terms of the steering wheel, we have a beautiful two-tone steering wheel. I love the look of this. It doesn't have any Hyundai branding on it because it has this kind of new badge that first debuted with the Ioniq products. Up top here, we have the driver monitoring system just to make sure you're alert. We have rain sensing wipers as well. And we have a manual tilt and telescoping steering wheel. I do want to point out the international version has a power adjusting one on the Calligraphy. We don't get that here in the US, but we do still have 2-stage heating over there on that center panel. But let's get into interior storage, because I've got so many positive things to say about this. It is going to be the same as the SEL, so you're going to find just a tremendous amount of space. The fact that something in this class hits the maximum number of donuts is very, very impressive, because at Car Confections, we like to do the donut test. That is our emblem after all, and this fits 24 donuts because it actually kind of is like a bottomless pit. It goes all the way down and then actually turns and kind of goes all the way over here, so you can fit an insane amount of stuff in here. And this console has some tricks. I won't spoil them right now. Mason's going to talk about those tricks actually later on in his section. Now, up in front of that, you've got your 2 cup holders. The Calligraphy is going to exclusively have double wireless phone charging pads, so both people can charge simultaneously. And then you've got this gigantic center pass-through all through here where you can stick just about anything. Still not done yet. Over here, we have a passenger storage shelf, and above that, you have a hidden compartment, which is another layer of a storage shelf. Now, on Limited and Calligraphy, though, this has an additional trick up its sleeve, and that's the fact that if you press this button here, it turns on UV light sterilization. So once I close that up, I can put objects in there and it will actually go and sanitize them. After about 10 minutes, it kills all the viruses and bacteria. I'm certainly a fan of this because I actually do have one of these personally at home, so it's very good for keeping your phone clean. Now, obviously the shifter is not taking up any space here because they have moved it over to the column. So this is their newest style of shifter. You're just gonna go up for drive. There are paddle shifters on the steering wheel as well. Down for reverse. When you go into reverse, we have a 360-degree camera system on our upper trim levels. You've got that nice overhead view, front and rear parking sensors, of course, as well. This is the fan favorite though. If you press that button, you get this really cool 3D view. It's exactly the same as what you get on the high-end Genesis products, and the graphics look fantastic. Then just press the end of the stalk there for park. Now in this Land Rover-like panel, we have a lot of physical controls for several different functions. I'll start by talking about the climate controls. So dual zone climate, or dual zone automatic climate, will be standard on the SEL and above. You have these nice easy to use knobs to adjust the temperature right here. And then in the center, you're going to notice a 6.6-inch display. This kind of contains all the other functions of the climate system, including our fan speeds, manual zone adjustments, and also has our 3-stage heated seats and 3-stage ventilated seats, which the heated seats are on the vast majority of trim levels. Ventilated seats are, of course, on your upper end trim levels. Another feature you'll find on your upper end trim levels, or the limited and above to be exact, is our Bose audio system. This is going to have 12 speakers on board, and I'm going to go ahead and play a song for a sound sample. Yeah, so overall sound quality of this system is quite good. Definitely fills up the cabin nicely and represents a good upgrade over that standard sound system, which has 6 speakers if you're really into audio. Of course, another thing that I personally like is the fact that we have a real metal speaker grills up there in the pillars. All right, now let's turn our attention here to technology. So, of course, the big news is that all Santa Fe's come with the brand new CCNC infotainment system. This is a brand new software which allows for things such as wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay across the entire lineup of vehicles. Right now we're kind of off the grid, so it can't really load up the Google Maps, but let me return back to the main screen to show you what this new software looks like. As you can see, really nice and responsive software. XRT and above are going to have a built-in native navigation system, so here's what that looks like. And you do have some additional functions inside of the settings. You can actually control the second row seats from the screen, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, there's just some other smart functions like Hyundai Pay and various other options inside of the system. Now, up top here, you're going to have an auto-dimming mirror with HomeLink remotes if you choose the limited trim level. Calligraphy, though, also comes with the digital rear view mirror, so you can just flip that switch and see out the back without any obstructions. Calligraphy is also going to give you this very premium full suede headliner. Definitely like the feel and look of this. And let's go ahead and pop open our sunroof. So this is going to be a dual panel setup. So you're going to see up here in the front that XRT and above will have this panel here that does open up. And then when we choose a top example, like we have today, we get this gigantic rear panel as well.
Now, spoiler alert, there are some bougie features here in the second row as well when you choose this Calligraphy Santa Fe. But before we dive into that, I do want to just talk about the overall space figures because when we added a few extra inches in length, that also means that we have more space than the previous Santa Fe. To be exact, we're sitting at 42.3 inches of legroom and about 40.6 inches of headroom. That is a ton of space, guys. That is one of the largest offerings you can get in the segment, and it's a pretty big improvement over the previous generation Santa Fe as well. So really impressive stuff. I'm 5'9" for reference. This seat is adjusted to Drew, who is 5'8", and we are sitting at a solid 9 inches of knee space back here. My feet can slide up underneath the seat as well, so I'm just incredibly comfortable. Now, I want to talk about one of those really cool Calligraphy exclusive features, and that are these seats right here. Now, you're probably seeing that we have the captain's chair set up. The Calligraphy is actually the only trim level that will have captain's chairs. So do keep that in mind. If you want captain's chairs, you have to choose the Calligraphy, which means you have 6 passenger seating in this model. Now, when you choose this Calligraphy, you're also going to get more than just captain's chairs. You see those switches right there? We actually have power adjusting captain's chairs for this Calligraphy. That's something that even the Palisade does not have, and My oh my, that's something that's pretty rare even in luxury SUVs. So as you can see, I can fully recline the seat with the power adjustment here. I can also raise the seat bottom to kind of give that feel up in the front like I'm fully reclining back in a lazy boy. So overall, definitely a very comfortable seat and a very bougie touch that Hyundai is including. Now, I do want to point out though, the sliding is still actually going to be manual, which is a little bit interesting, but I like how it can actually slide all the way up to the back of the driver's seat. Moving on from that, we do have this really cool feature. So Drew was talking about the glove box earlier, or actually, excuse me, the center console, and you have this button that actually allows you to open it from the rear area. So let's say you have some snacks in the center console here, your kids can actually reach up there and open up the center console. So take what you wish from that. Maybe don't put your favorite snacks in the center console. Also, we have this, which allows you to actually pull this back, and that's going to be some of your center console storage area, is this tray right there. Now, as far as other features to talk about, we have vents integrated right here. And then on the door trim, we do have some nice features, including rear window sunshades. That's going to be standard on the limited trim level and calligraphy. Dropping below that, we have some more of that nice faux wood, leather padded armrest. We also have 3-stage heated rear seats in the Santa Fe. So that's also going to be standard on limited and calligraphy. No ventilated seats though, that will be a Palisade exclusive feature. And then we have 2 additional cup holders in front of that. And we even have some bottle storage down in the very bottom. So a very practical rear area. In addition, you also have 2 USB ports integrated into the seats. And some of the biggest news about this Santa Fe is that unlike the previous generation, we do have a 3rd row. So let's check that out. That's standard on all trims. In order to get back here, you just push this button right here. That's going to allow the seat to quickly slide up and out of the way, and that's actually going to power recline the seat back. That makes entry into the 3rd row pretty darn easy. And then sitting back here, keep in mind the seat is adjusted all the way back in its tracks. And as far as the legroom figures are concerned, we're sitting at around 29.9 inches of legroom, so a little under 30 inches of legroom and about 37 inches of headroom. I think the most impressive area about this Santa Fe's 3rd row is the headroom, because typically in a smaller SUV like this, the headroom is absolutely garbage, and because we have that boxy shape, it makes quite a bit of headroom. The legroom is not fantastic. It's going to be a little bit less than the Hyundai Palisade, so keep that in mind. But if you scoot this seat up a little bit, you'd have plenty of room for an average size kid. The thigh support is okay as well. And then as far as features are concerned, we have 2 cup holders on each side. We also have vents and our own climate controls, as long as you choose anything but the very base SE trim level. We also have a charging USB port and a household style outlet here in the 3rd row. So as far as how this ranks on the 3rd row rating scale, I will say this is fit for in-laws. Now that boxy shape doesn't end with benefits in the interior. It also translates to more cargo capacity. So let's go ahead and dive into this area. We have a standard power tailgate on every single version of this all-new Santa Fe, and we have the widest opening cargo area in the entire segment. Now, that's why I mentioned that the taillights are designed the way they are, is to give you this maximum opening, and it's going to be improved quite a lot over the previous generation Santa Fe. So you're going to be able to load a lot of things in here just because of how wide it is. Now, as far as the space figures are concerned, we have about 15 cubic feet behind the 3rd row of seats. If we fold the 3rd row down, we have about 41 cubic feet of space, and then as a maximum, we're looking at 80 cubic feet. Large improvement over the previous generation. It's only about 4 cubic foot less than something like a Toyota Highlander. Now, as far as the 3rd row, we're not going to have power folding like a Palisade, but it's quite easy to fold. You just grab this little strap, folds it right down. I also really like that we have these buttons right here, which will electronically fold the 2nd row of seats. So as you can see, because they are fully power seats, they do all of the work for you. You just press that button and they're going to fully fold. Guys, it's honestly very impressive. It folds in exactly the same manner as something like a BMW X7, so I'm happy to see that for the Santa Fe Calligraphy. Now here at Car Confections, we believe in giving you all the cargo figures and measurements. So from behind the driver's seat, adjusted to someone who's 5'8", to the rear of the cargo area, we're sitting at about 81 inches of overall length. If we look from behind the second row of seats for reference, sitting at about 41 inches of overall length. And then let's go ahead and get that cargo opening figure for you. Certainly, since we've owned our Santa Fe, we've also enjoyed how wide this is. It's a massive 48 inches wide. Very, very impressive. Underneath the cargo floor, you have a little bit of additional space on the left side. And then as far as spare tires are concerned, you do have a spare tire integrated underneath of the bumper.
All right, so now you're probably wondering what is under the hood, and the Calligraphy trim level has the same selection of 2 different powertrain options as the rest of the trim levels as well. You have a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with 277 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque, paired to an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission.
And you also have the choice of a hybrid powertrain, which is a 1.6-liter turbo 4-cylinder with an electric motor, making 232 total system horsepower, 271 pound-feet of torque. That is instead of the 8-speed dual clutch paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission.
Now, in terms of getting power to the ground, front-wheel drive will be standard equipment on every single version except for the XRT, which comes standard with all-wheel drive. And because of that, you have a wide variety of fuel economies. On the gas side of things, it's going to range from 22 to 24 mpg combined. And then
the hybrid fuel economy is going to range from a very impressive 34 mpg combined with all-wheel drive to 36 mpg combined if you choose front-wheel drive.
Now, normally this might be the part where we go for an in-depth test drive, and we certainly are going to be driving this Calligraphy Santa Fe, but not right now. That's because we're under a drive impressions embargo. We wanted to show you everything that Calligraphy had to offer right away, so we went ahead and gave you this walk around here, but we are going to have to wait until Tuesday to show you the full driving experience, where we're going to test out important things you want to know about the Calligraphy. Is it quieter than the other trim levels? How's the ride quality compared to the other trim levels, such as the SEL that we own?
Now let's talk pricing for this all-new Santa Fe. Now I'm sure you're very curious about the Calligraphy's price. As you can see on the screen right now, there are a lot of different trim levels. You start in the low $30,000 and you move up to this Calligraphy. Now as far as how this one is priced, we have the Calligraphy all-wheel drive, so we are fully loaded up. $48,300, $1,000 for the paint, plus floor mats, $1,395 destination. We're sitting at $50,905 as tested today. And if you're looking to buy a Hyundai Santa Fe or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, why you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price on your new vehicle. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealer negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description. Now let's talk about potential resale value and reliability to make sure you are making a smart purchase. Now first up, let's talk about resale value. Now, as an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Santa Fe's potential resale value. We estimate that this Hyundai will be worth around 55% of its original MSRP after 5 years, which is slightly below some other competitors like Toyota when it comes to the 5-year metric, and around 19.6% after 10 years. That means you'd be looking at around $28,000 after 5 years and around $10,000 after 10 years.
We've also done the same for potential reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index, which is a combination of data from trusted automotive sources on reliability. Based on this ranking, Hyundai is rated slightly below average in relation to all other vehicle makes.
If you'd like to check out all of our data about reliability and resale values, as well as learn about our methodology, make sure to head to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a car is a big decision, and this is a great place to go, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle makes. And guys, that's going to be where we leave off on this in-depth review of the all-new and very luxurious 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you help get us invited to events like this where we can come sample one of the first Santa Fe calligraphies made. So if you liked seeing that content, we would really appreciate hitting that subscribe button down below, because you play a very pivotal role in getting us invited to these programs. If you're already a fan and subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.